A real surprise for Blue Watch now. They're becoming Red Watch, and they don't pretend.
5, 6, 1.
And action.
Hello, I'm Richard Walsh. I play fireman Bert Quigley, sick note in London's Burning.
George, knock off the hose and release the pressure.
You got mad? There's no water.
Hi, I'm Zoe Hayes. I play the role of Carol Webb, the sub-officer in London's Burning.
Jack, what are you doing?
I'm Clive Wood and I play Jack Morgan in London's Burning.
As actors, we've fearlessly fought hundreds of fires over the years. But acting brave isn't the same as having to be brave for a living. Well, tonight we get the chance, as the London Fire Brigade invite us to play it for real.
Your bright idea, was it?
Well, don't look at me, it certainly wasn't mine.
Blackwall Fire Station in South London.
Jack, come on!
Possibly the most famous station in the country. It's real enough, still operational in fact, but we're not. We're a cast and crew who are expert in make-believe, who've assembled once more to film the 10th series of London's Burning.
What's he doing here? And why are you two fighting? My fault. Oh, really? You better come up to the office and explain it. I'll talk to you later. Stop getting concerned.
This drama has brought the hitherto hidden domain of the firefighter into the open. But how much does what we do as actors really reflect what they do? To find out, three of us, Clive Wood, Zoe Hayes and myself, Richard Walsh, have set ourselves the task of covering a night shift at two London fire stations, Old Kent Road and Peckham, to get a taste of the real thing. Red Watch, like all watches, work together for years on end. We will have just one night to get to know a whole new cast of characters.
Red Watch. Red Watch, Red Watch. Leading firefighter Scrivener, Echo 35, Old Kent Road, on the Red Watch. East.
Firefighter Kel Ward, otherwise known as Meg, Echo 35, Old Kent Road, Red Watch.
I've got your whistles, your action cards.
Firefighter Nickerson, Echo 35, Old Kent Road, Red Watch.
As far as the cameras are concerned, and I'm concerned, you're working as an ordinary routine tonight, all right?
Station Officer Terry Jones, Echo 35, Old Kent Road, Red Watch.
Red Watch, Red Watch. Full out.
We are.
Staying at a fire station feels like walking on the set of a long-running series for the first time. Everyone knows each other's foibles, but you're the new kid on the block.
Evening, fellas.
Hiya. Hello.
Richard Walsh.
Dave Whiting, Station Commander of
Nice to meet you,
Peckham.
Dave.
Stuart Drummond, leading fireman.
Nice to... Oh, I'm with you tonight, I believe.
Certainly are. Yeah, we've got you on back of the pump tonight.
Okay.
So if we go to shout now, this went out to a shout, would you be on this?
Yeah,
on the pressure?
Being the driver, yeah, I would be the pump operator.
Right.
And then, so that is my job basically, to provide water for the crews.
This is called your personal line. This is, you've got to make sure they're stowed correctly.
I see.
This basically is what we connect onto each other when we go into a fire. So we keep in contact with each other all of the
So
time.
there's always a reach and
There's
always a
always,
connection.
you're always in connection with somebody, yeah.
Almost immediately, a message came over the teleprinter that a bonfire was out of control in Peckham.
There's Stuart putting his helmet on first. I remember that's one of the first things they told us when we started training for London's Burning. You've got to get your helmet on first in case you smash your head when you're going along any sort of speed.
Especially when you've got speed ramps.
But the good thing about this job is you come in here and you don't know what's going to happen.
Go on, switch the camera around there, Pat. You can see it out of this window coming up. There you go.
Apparently, this is a typical kind of call from anxious neighbours who are worried that the fire will get out of hand.
Looks very well managed. I'm no expert, but it's right out there in the middle. Plenty of grown-ups around.
And tonight we'll leave it alone.
No, we'll let you carry on with it.
First Echo 372, code 5. We're leaving it. One shout could be something boring as far as we are concerned, like a person locked out or a person shut in lift, which is something that we do a lot. And yet you could come back from that and 5 minutes later you're at a multiple accident or a bomb incident or something that's challenging.
When I first jumped into the appliance, which is the fire engine, my adrenaline was just every which way. It's racing down the road and you're trying to get dressed and you're like falling all over yourself. And I was thinking, gosh, I shouldn't be in here, I shouldn't be in here. There was excitement as well as fear, both at the same time.
I think you'd better save your adrenaline for later, Zoe. It's a phantom fire.
Evidently, the person who made the call was a bit
Tipsy.
either distressed or tipsy, I don't know, but they haven't really given specific directions where this smoke issuing is. So I guess we just stand here and wait.
I don't know whether psychological, but I can smell smoke.
Yeah, well, we could smell it as we were driving up, but can't spot anything.
No.
Basically, we've been given a call. There's no such address as we've had on the slip, so we're carrying out a search around Avondale Square. I'm going to send the other machine off to search down off of Cooper's Road now, try and cover all eventualities.
Each watch has its own, obviously, mess cupboard, denoted by the colours on the doors of what watch is what. Red watch are on tonight. This is our cupboard.
So you haven't got the keys to the other cupboards then?
Usually a woman in here. Look at that. Right? Any Italian will be glad to see that. Yeah. The fire brigade does centre around comedy, if you like. You know, the bantering, digging, having a dig, doesn't it? Having a go.
Sarcasm.
You know, you're not safe.
Plenty of that flying around.
Yeah.
Was there nothing in the sun?
Yes, there was something in the sun. It's about my flaming personality.
Gary Bush will write it.
Why do you think all that arises, all that banter? Where do you think it comes from?
Probably being together for so long.
Yeah.
You've got to have a relief point, and that release is banter. I had to get her back. Sorry.
Don't worry, Mags. Don't worry, I'll get you back.
I dare say you will, dear. You get someone come out of a building site that would just come into a job like this, they find it very hard, not the fire side of it, but the banter. They find that very hard to accept.
Speaking to them, none of them were sort of like into, going to a counsellor. No, we counsel ourselves. That's what all the banter is, all the jokes, all that. And you have to have an element of humour, really, to enable to cope with the stresses that are involved in being a firefighter.
You realise they're talking like this now. This is burnt now.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, but that's the way we always have it.
Yeah, but
we like it that way.
Yeah.
The humour was very similar between actors and the firefighters. I think because of the world we live in,
I haven't got one in
there are
there.
hours where we spend doing nothing, absolutely nothing, waiting for setups. It's the same at the station. I mean, the lack of activity was amazing.
Hello. You locked out?
Responding to a lockout was until April the staple activity of the fire brigade. Now people will have to call a private locksmith, unless there's a real danger of fire.
Oh, this is going to be funny if we get shut in the lift.
It is, isn't it? Okay.
You have.
Yes.
There's a lot of qualities that you have to have as a firefighter to be a good one anyway. You've got to be able to push yourself to the limit and then still find that little bit extra. You may be feeling totally tired and not feel like you can go on, but there's somebody in that room, that building, that you have to get it out because there's no one else really to do it. You are there to do that. And if you just sort of gave up at the limit you thought you were at, just people would die. So there's that little bit extra that's in you to sort of just push yourself to get them out. And I think to be a good firefighter, you've got to have that, otherwise there's no point in you being here.
Hang on a minute. It's never meant to be like this. I thought we'd have a cup of tea, bit of a chat, then bed. This is busier than London's burning.
Benalin, ask for it by name.
On its own, or with a little imagination, Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce is the instant marinade for delicious meals.
Don't pick it up. Don't. Oh.
Pick up a McDonald's Happy Meal and a cuddly toy for £1.99.
Great.
Beecham's actually. I've never seen a heavier dose of flu.
You should be in bed with Flu Plus, Beecham's full-strength flu fighter. Behind that soothing lemony taste, there's enough strength to tackle those harsh cold and flu symptoms.
Thank you, Beecham.
Call me Beachy.
Flu Plus certainly helped him come out fighting. Sayonara.
Beecham's full-strength flu fighter, now in new hotberry fruits flavour. Beecham's brings you back.
Don't miss Boxing Day at DFS. All over Britain, thousands more people will be able to save in the double discount sale. Not only is everything reduced, everything's free for a year too. Take 3 years free credit and pay nothing for the first year. We're even doubling the sale discount on many items.
This leather settee is only $598. This settee is only $499.
Sale prices, double discount, 3 years free credit, and everything free for a year. That's Boxing Day at the DFS sale.
I was so safe and happy when I was 7. I lived with my mum, my dad, and my big brothers in a tall house. I went to school, I played with my friends, and a teddy called Fred. I had my own little room which I never kept tidy. That's where I was sleeping when the house caught fire. There was no sound from the smoke alarm. It wasn't Daddy's fault. We just wanted a battery for my new Christmas present.
Hi, it's sale time at B&Q, and you won't be disappointed.
You can save on tongue and groove planning.
And there's big savings on all these crown wall coverings and the borders.
Look, 10 litres for under £10.
And there's £60 off this gains for a shower. What a bargain!
Buy this power breaker and you'll get this extension lead free.
Uplighters. We've got these in specially, only $4.99.
And many blinds reduced to half price.
And there's loads more. The B&Q sale starts Boxing Day.
Any rubbish fires?
Yeah.
Will be just the pump only.
Bins are light, apparently. Take them right in this side.
A bin alight in South London. Deja vu?
Might have a go on the hose if it's nothing too complicated.
There is, Doc. There's no sign of fire, though, is there? Not a lot. It's a Mickey Mouse, isn't it?
What? Better not be. Missed me breakfast for this. Shut up. They're getting me to work now. Couldn't happen 2 hours later, could it?
Oh, no, let's get Blue Watch out again. They haven't done much.
Shut up.
Well, I've never done this for real before.
Stand above it and just open it up slowly and just hold it down into it.
Right in?
Yeah. Close it up.
No stuntman, no safety coordinator. Just me and my watch on the front line of firefighting. OK, so it's not exactly Steve McQueen in Towering Inferno, but you never know. Maybe we just saved Peckham from going up in smoke.
Home the heroes. I've got to have a lie down after that, I'm telling you.
6395, take 2.
London's Burning has always tried to include characters that are true to life.
I think the best character, personally, for me, is, well, there's a couple, but the ones I like are Jack.
Jack is he's very much his own man. He's very maverick in the way he deals with situations.
And also Sick Note.
I want my youth back, Gene. I want my youth back.
He started off being this lead swinger, accident prone, and not even minding the accidents because it got him on light duties, got him sitting in the watch room, things like that. He's developed since then into sort of being the pompous ass around the station, I suppose.
I mean, look at it. It's gone. It's nearly all gone.
He thinks he might get a wig and see if he could get away with it at work. And, of course, everybody on the watch knows immediately that he's got a syrup on, but nobody notices. They all pretend that absolutely nothing has changed whatsoever.
Gonna be a bit short on syrup, Max.
George, if you're looking for someone...
Should be enough, though.
I tell you, Scotland's a good place. Well...
Because I think they're two people that you can sort of see within the fire service, you know?
Yeah.
You need that rough, gruff attitude in Jack, and you also need the emotional, sentimental part of Sick Note.
But women have yet to make an impact. There are still only 60 female firefighters out of nearly 6,000 in London. We try to reflect that.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's okay. When I joined, I was the only female amongst all these males. And it was quite daunting. I think you have to have a certain personality in that you've got to be able to take the ribbon, be a man, you know, and give back what you get.
I'll have you cleaning every bit of equipment we've got, okay? You want to play the juvenile, then do it on your own time, not mine.
I found, when speaking to Donna, she said almost the same. She went in there, and on the onset, she decided, I'm coming in here now, and I've got to be one of the boys. And she stands up verbally, you know, within her own right. And she's one of them. She can give just as much as she gets.
There's a bit of an incident. I think everyone was sort of joking about on the other firefighters. One of them, I think he said something and then sort of gave me a little slap round the face, just in jest sort of thing. And I was like, oh, sort of quite taken aback. But I don't really take anything sort of lying down, so I sort of thought, I'm going to get him back. But my governor said, oh, Donna, you know, feel free, you can get him back now. And I said, oh no, I'll leave it till later, you know, thinking I can't do it in front of an officer. This is my station officer here. But he said, no, Donna, go ahead, you know, we all want to see it. So I sort of turned to him and sort of gave him a quick right hook on the jaw, and I think he stumbled a bit and was quite taken aback by the fact that I had it in me to do that.
All quiet on the Peckham front. Let's hope it stays that way while we eat.
We are the busiest fire station in the world. I mean, if there's a nuclear explosion, you can bet it's going to happen in Blackwall.
No one would live there, would they?
No, there wouldn't be anyone left to live there, I don't think. Greenham Common, when we did something down there, big garage place, and they just went under Greenham Common, which is deserted now, and built it. The props boys just built that garage. People often don't realise, you know, how clever the art department, the scenic design people are on London's Burning. They think we found these locations and burnt them down, but we haven't. Those guys have actually been down there and built it, and then we burnt it down.
Bulk foam tender required.
Look at him go!
When you're sitting around the telly, your kids will ask you, do you do that, Dad? And I'll say no, because it's not like that. start saying, shut up, Dad, when you say it's not like this, it's not like that. You know. Shut up, Dad, we're trying to watch the telly sort of thing, you know.
You did your first pet training at Southwark Training Centre.
Yeah.
You did that a few years ago. Do you do any more training?
We do a refresher every year, 2 or 3 days before the start of a series. It's basically in case they got some new equipment we haven't used.
And it would have to be in January, wouldn't it? That's when you'll find us crawling through the bowels of Southwark Training Centre, carrying the air we breathe on our backs. The idea is to see if we're strong enough to make it through real sewers, should the occasion ever arise.
When I went to training, I knew it was going to be bad and hard, but I don't think anything can prepare you for just how hard it's going to be, both physically and mentally. The stress is enormous.
That was incredibly uncomfortable.
Next stop, the most dreary basement flat in London, and a victim in an armchair. We'll have to find him in total darkness.
You have a basement, which is a few rooms. It's supposed to represent a typical sort of domestic sort of house.
Our only visual aid is a thermal image camera, which responds to body heat.
Okay, thank you. Sweep it to the right.
Right.
Got the door frame. Which way to the other room? Okay, following. Aha!
Have you found someone?
Yeah.
We found him!
You don't have to shout, I'm right behind you. I think there's any time for that, sub-officer. Oh, it's a bit heavy for us.
He is very heavy.
So I think he can walk, he's conscious. Oh, good. Excuse me, but you're conscious now. Have you done any conscious acting ever? Oh, that's all right now. Oh.
And you come out of there and you've missed about 4 people, which you don't take seriously to begin with, but towards the end of the training you realise that these aren't just dummies, they could be people, and that's 4 people you've left in a fire. And the stress of that, the responsibility of what you're actually being asked to do is quite tremendous.
Our last exercise will take place in the foam tower. Yes, they will fill the whole thing with foam, and then we have to climb down it. The experience simulates walking through dense smoke, which can be totally disorientating.
He's on a pre-wash. This is scary.
Firefighters say that when you can't see, the smallest room can feel as big as a cathedral.
This is weird! I know. Richard, come back round behind Zoe. And Clive, if you do the same to Richard, stick your hand on the top of his cylinder. Richard? Which is... hang on. Alright, Zoe, listen to the door, we're going out, alright? Yeah?
When you're inside there, you think stuff is 2 feet away, but it might as well be 2 miles away. You have all sense of distance is completely lost to you.
I was really frightened at first because it's like the unknown. What I didn't like about it was stepping down into it, and you really can't. Something like Kai could be right in my face, and you just could not actually see him.
Very alive, isn't it?
It is very alive, and you're trying to wipe off the foam, thinking that it might help you, but it actually doesn't.
You're not a good thing for claustrophobics. It's not recommended at all.
I really enjoyed it, actually.
So did I.
I just stood there till someone sort of prodded me and said move, but it was... Well, I've been back in the womb.
Front womb or the back womb?
The bedroom.
Back on the watch, and we're wondering if tonight is going to turn into the proverbial graveyard shift. We're still waiting for the big one.
He's here, girls. Superman's a liar. Without his time.
Many of our storylines come from real events.
Come on, dear, I'll give you a hand. Oh, careful now. Oh, Shaky, behave yourself.
Can you see anything yet?
We were called to a lady with her foot stuck in the bath, and basically what she'd done, I think she'd been lying in the bath like everyone does, and she'd been playing around in there and stuck her foot in the tap. And I don't know how she'd done it, but it got stuck, and they couldn't get it out. Her and her husband couldn't get it out. She was only a young girl. And they called us out, and of course the fire brigade, to any person trapped for whatever reason, it's 2 fire engines and a fire rescue unit. So this poor woman was lying in the bath, with absolutely no clothes on at all, and her husband, embarrassed, he opened the door to 14 firemen, and up we all went into the bathroom, and we had she was lying there, stark as, I mean, she'd had a towel put over her, but the water was still in the bath. And I don't think she forgot it for a while, but we were there for about 10 minutes wiggling it out. I mean, I wouldn't have called her, to be honest. I think I would have got the old fairy liquid out and tried it myself, because that's all we did in the end.
One thing which separates firefighting from other careers is that you have to get used to sleeping in a dormitory. I wonder who'll be next to me tonight and who snores. Bob?
Like being the only girl on the watch, I suppose, especially for night duty, when you're on nights. Obviously, we've only got the one dorm here with some officers' rooms downstairs, so I have to sleep along with all the rest of them. But our locker room is sort of set out so that everyone can have quite a bit of privacy, really, so I'm not the only one who has the privacy.
Well, it is very hard to have 9 people in one room and try to gain some privacy.
So what was it like for you, talking privacy, what was it like for you, coming in the first time to a dormitory?
Well, I mean, I was used to it because I was in the army for 3 years before this. So, I mean, it didn't really mean nothing to me to walk into a room full of fellas. I slept with 2 brothers when I was younger as well. So, I'd always shared a room with someone. I dare say some blokes can get a little bit embarrassed about it,
Yeah.
Which is why I sleep downstairs.
I heard you slept downstairs because you snore too much.
Yeah, I snore, yeah. I make deep breathing sounds.
They actually look a lot.
It's usually the way that when most people decide to...
Like I say, Mags, in your dreams,
Yeah, that's what my wife said.
They're actually...
But I quite like being in one room, knowing that when there's a shout, you're all getting up together, and you're all, you can look out if someone's not been able to wake up. You can sort of tap them on the shoulder, which is better than if you're isolated in a separate room.
And I just didn't feel comfortable going into this dorm filled with strange people, and the majority of them being male, except for one, which was female. And she ended up in the kitchen with me, and we were just talking all night. So what was it like, coming into the dorm at first? Did you get undressed when you went to bed? Did you...
Oh no, the first night I just slept with... Well, I don't sleep very well here, but I just went to bed with everything on, because I just lay there waiting for the bells, because you're scared to go to sleep in case you don't wake up or something. And then, as the tour went on, socks came off, because they were most uncomfortable, and then the trousers came off, and now I just sleep in my underwear.
Would you believe it? On the night we filmed, 15 miles away, half of Eel Pie Island, 2 minutes from where I live, went up in smoke in one of the biggest fires of the year.
Probably the only time we'd go on it is if we carried on for a few hours and we'd get a relief.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get called on to it as such. We'd probably get relief 6 o'clock in the morning.
Meanwhile, over at Peckham, there's no peace for the wicked. I just dozed off when we were called to an estate where someone was stuck in a lift. Hello, somebody's been partying.
Someone's stuck in a lift. There's press the emergency button. Apparently they do get stuck now and again.
My name's Mark West, by the way.
Who would have thought that in the early hours of the morning I'd be taking part in an impromptu photo call?
I never did want to do it. I'm perfectly happy with acting it. No, I wouldn't want to do it. I really wouldn't. It takes a very sort of special sort of person. You've got to be sort of I don't know, half solitary, half teamwork, and brave, very brave.
It was a long night, and I mean, not a great deal happened. I think, you know, we kind of feel like disappointed, but in some ways it's good that nothing happened. Of course, it's good that nothing happened. But I think everyone was pretty amazed that it was so quiet, and that was quite an exceptional thing. I think it's a very busy station here normally. I'm still exhausted. I've had about an hour's sleep. You know, I'm not used to sleeping in somewhere like this. It's just this little bunk here, and it's a bit uncomfortable, really. I miss my bed.
That's the alarm for breakfast, I think, now. Oh, no, is there another message on the tele-message printer? That's what it is. Oh, sorry. I'm knackered.
No, yeah, bye then.
It was an education.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah, same to you.
Yeah. See you later. All the best. Yeah.
See ya. Take care.
Cameras, head ball on C. More smoke.
Action!
Now it's our turn to play host and invite Redwatch to see what we get up to behind the scenes. This is going to be one of the biggest shouts of the series. What will Redwatch make of it?
So when are you actually going to start then?
10 minutes, we've been told.
Oh, right.
Obviously, knock the stunts off before they knock us off. It's easier to sort of fit us in, if you see what I mean.
So you come up this way onto the platform and...
I don't. You just do what we're told, really.
Yeah.
Sit in the big red thing and drive it.
About the same as us, then.
Exactly.
Fire looks real enough, doesn't it?
It does. Why is that door open?
Because they're all going to come running out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I would have thought the public would have been panicking more than that, wouldn't you? Running up and down, banging on the windows, trying to sort of smash the windows and screaming and... You know, if that was for real, that's how I envisage it would be.
Yeah, too calm, yeah.
That's what I mean. I would have thought you worked out what this geezer in the orange suit's trying to do. He just looks at the door, doesn't he?
Well, he's British Rail Man, that's all they ever do, isn't he? Just stand there and do nothing.
Trying to rescue the sandwiches. Get them pork pies out.
Just looking at me, everybody, please. Just play the real firefighter.
Yeah, just make way for the real fight. Make way for the peasants.
Okay, guys.
I just enjoyed their company. I just think they're just an amazing bunch of guys.
Yeah, good.
I'm totally in awe of firefighters. I used to be in awe of actors, but not anymore. I think it is the firefighters.
Can I have a board to stand? A block to stand?
We don't class ourselves as heroes. It is a job. It is a dangerous job sometimes. I mean, who else runs into a fire when everybody else is running away from it?
It's madness, letting a film crew in a place like that. Whoever gave him permission should be prosecuted.
Are we rolling now? Are we going? I'm getting all the terms now.
You are, aren't you? Yeah, are we rolling? Yeah, is this a rap or is it...
Can it? Or...
Yeah.